Dr. Paul, I have another question for you about your concept of time you mentioned before.
Time is a very interesting subject. We all know there are the normal 3 dimensions. You got height, width, depth. But there's also the 4th dimension, which is time that goes through, so that a box can move through time, and it was here and now it's there. But the question is, can we etch, can we scratch into time something that will always exist forever? This can explain a whole bunch of different concepts of the psychic world, the invisible world, and the paranormal. Let me give you a story. This might make sense. There was an old manor, which is like a castle, but a big mansion. And there was a master, and the master lived upstairs. Every morning, the master wanted breakfast exactly 7 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock in the morning exactly. So every morning, minutes to 7, the maid would carry up the tray up the servants' staircase up to the master's room. Eventually, the old man died. The maid was still alive. She got a job someplace else. But after 30 years of walking up that staircase, at 7 in the morning, every morning, you could still hear the creaking walking up. Was it a ghost? No, she's still alive. She had etched into time. She had scratched so many times you could hear the creaking, eek, 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 up the staircase. So we have caused that to happen. Now, eventually, interesting enough, they remodeled the house, took out the staircase, and still, they were like, eek, 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 at 7 in the morning forever, because she etched in time. Now, why is this important? We're assuming that Einstein may not have been exactly correct because some of his theories conflict. But if we have precognition or premonition of an event that will happen in the future, maybe that time being a constant, and that it's a dimension, but it can be a constant that we just look at it from a different direction. Like my glass of water here. If I have a glass of water, and each different direction I still see the water, but I look at it from a different direction, and each direction is a different viewpoint. So if my viewpoint changes, then the direction I see. Now, let's just say that somebody has the psychic ability, now this is a theory, that they have a psychic ability to see the future. If they can mentally see in this glass of water from this perspective, when really everybody else is still in this perspective, they have seen the future. That's using the same theory of the woman walking up, that in time something is scratched in. You could have a major event. You could have something happen someplace, or something that was so monumental that one act caused a change in time. It wedged into the time so that always that one spot has meaning. And then we walk on to an old battlefield. And in an old battlefield, you feel the bodies of the dead. But let's say you had a battle and no one died. So there are no ghosts, or no ghosts at that place. But there was anger and desire and the fear of their own death, and the want of king and God and whatever else they were fighting for, and a lot of emotions. Those emotions scratched at one moment, at one monumental, powerful moment, scratched into that spot. And now anybody that walks past that spot feels that monumental, that amazing event that happened there. Now, there may also be ghosts and stuff in other places, but this is in addition to, but it explains the precognition, premonition, and déjà vu. What if we are someplace? Now, there's a theory on déjà vu that is the brain being slow for a second. That's a scientific explanation, no evidence to that any more than evidence to what I'm going to say. But what if we can move ahead in a second, and for 1 second, glitch, where something changes and we see 1 second ahead of time, and then it happens. Déjà vu. Same theory, it works. So it's much more complicated with the way that time has more effects and actually explains a lot more in the paranormal world if we consider that it might just be a constant that we see from different angles. And maybe there's a way to connect between the angles to see the past and the future, and maybe the present in other areas. That's been a very good theory, and I think that answers your question.